Hello. Oh, wait. Let me open these up. Okay. Good morning. I'm watching this movie. Can a wife forgive husband's infidelity? New life after 45. Her husband went and cheated on her and got a young girl pregnant. The girl looked like she's in her early 20s. She working. This is out of the States movie. It's not a New York movie. It's not a United States movie. So it's in another language. They're talking in another language, but it's in English, if that makes sense, right? So anyway, so her husband brings home the girl that is pregnant, because did I say that? He got the girl pregnant, brought the girl home, before he brings her home, he tells the wife that he's going to marry the girl that's pregnant, right? So she's already hurt, whatever. Then he goes and take the girl to an apartment. Well, I guess in that country it's a flat. And the girl don't like it. You know how these young girls is. Because no matter the country or the state, they all seem to have the same mentality. Mental. Right? Seem to think alike. And he goes, she starts talking to him and tell him, why should she have to stay here? She should get the wife since she's by herself. Now they have a daughter together, the wife and the husband. And say, why don't you, since she's there by herself, why don't you let her live here and we live in the house, etc., etc. So he comes back with the girl and goes and tells the wife that she'll stay here, let her stay here, she ain't got nowhere to go. That's crazy, right? And since the girl that's pregnant ain't got nowhere to stay, he was thinking that she should go and stay in the room. He's repeating what the young girl said to him until everything is settled. So the next morning, she's nice to the girl, tell the girl to eat, whatever. But you could tell who wouldn't feel hurt. Your husband coming there with another girl, younger. It's bad enough he came in the house with another girl, but to top it off with someone at half your age, I can imagine how that feels. I can imagine, right? So now, he goes, the next morning, she wakes up, the girl is sorting out her clothes, like she's, well, showing the wife that, yo, this is my house, and boom. So she goes and says to the wife, well, I can't be wearing no wrinkled clothes, so I'm sorting my clothes out. Their way of talking and thinking is different from the American way. So they use different terminologies, but it still means the same to us. So so her using the word sort out means that she's unpacking. And to us, sort out would mean that you looking through something to pick out what you're going to wear. But in their terminology, it means, according to the movie, she's taking her stuff out and laying it out. So that's unpacking to us. So now the husband comes in with an envelope full of money and hands it to the wife and say, this is for you. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then he goes, it's our share. it's your share of the apartment. And and she goes, what are you talking about? He said he went and sold his car. So you see how smart he is? She can't get the car. Because he can go buy another car, which I'm sure he is, because he gonna wind up having another baby, because him and the wife got a daughter. So she said, I don't want your money. And he goes, well, take it, because the daughter's gonna need it, right? So now she takes the money, and she goes forward winding to her daughter's house. Her daughter lives in another part of town, right? Let's say she lives in Pennsylvania, because she had to take a bus there. So it's not like going to another part of where she live at. She actually had to go out of the state. Look like it, because they buses look like Greyhound buses, like charter buses to us, to me. But anyway, she goes to the daughter's house. The daughter is having issues with her husband. Her husband drinks a lot. And I'm telling the story, you know. So her husband drinks a lot, and they got a daughter as well. And he can't seem to get a job or whatever. So, in a sense, I guess the bottom line, he takes out his frustration, on the wife, right? Because, yeah, she get married. So the mother's like, why didn't you tell us? And then she says that her husband wouldn't let her call and stuff. So I thought that kind of odd, but I wasn't thinking about nothing else. Nothing else came in my head. I just thought it odd. Why would your husband not allow you to talk to your mother? That's a top red, thousands of red flags. When you're in a relationship and your husband or your wife don't allow you to talk to your parents. Family members, okay. I'll let that fly overhead. But when it comes down to your parents, a spouse should not stop their spouse from speaking to their family member. Okay, for whining. So now she's staying there, and so she gives the money to the daughter, but the daughter didn't want it, so she tells the daughter what happened with her dad and stuff like that. So the daughter's crying, Mommy, I love you, da-da-da-da. So now forward whining, she goes to try to get a job, and she got to get, in order to work, I guess it's the same way in New York, right? I think it's certain jobs, it's been a long time since I worked. I think certain jobs in New York City is required medical clearance, right? But other than that, you good, right? And so there, I think in order to work, they got factory jobs. So before she could work, she got to get a clearance. They don't call it a clearance. They call it a medical certificate. So to us, that would be a letter from the doctor stating that we well enough to work. So she had to go and get it. She went through all the stuff to get it, right? Now she's taking the daughter. She's taking the granddaughter out to buy some toys. The night before, the husband comes in and beats up the wife and pushes her around. She calls the police. The police come. The police tells the wife that they're going to take him, and for them to get the medical of the wife, because she had to bring proof, because he busted her lip, he bruised the side of her face. She had scarring on her, bruising. So she had to go to the medical and get the documents as well as the pictures in reference to what happened, so that they can use it against him, right? And the cops has taken him saying, yeah, you come on, because you're going to be there. And he talking about, I ain't did nothing. I don't know why these men leave bruises on women and talk about they ain't did nothing. What kind of misconception is that? What's the matter? Okay, but anyway. So now the mother goes with the daughter, the granddaughter. She tells the granddaughter to wait here. Now, you know that's not New York policies. You leave your child in the park, you getting picked up, and your child is getting taken from you. They don't care nothing about no job in the United States. Well, I'm going to put in the 5 boroughs. I don't know how it is outside of the United States. But I'm presuming it's like that all over the United States. You can't go leaving your child in the park while you go and check out a job, right? But that's what she did. She left her. There was a lady sitting there with a baby. So, okay, she asked the lady to watch the baby and keep an eye on her while she go. She was supposed to go into the grocery store. But she went to the job place. And she told the lady that it's going to take a few days for me to get the medical certificate, but they told me that you can work with this. She puts down a piece of paper. The lady tells her, she looks at her and says, oh. Because now she's remembering she's supposed to, in a sense, save the spot for her. But apparently she forgot, and she told the lady, listen, I gave it to somebody else. So now she ain't got no job. So she's sitting around. She goes back to the house with the girl, and the husband comes to the door. Now she's thinking that the husband is still in the custody of the police. So she kind of surprised. So she goes to go in there. He grabs the kid, the daughter, his daughter. So his daughter gotta be, I'm gonna say she's about 5 or 6. So he grabs her, pulls her into the house, and then he pushes the mother away and closes the door. Says whatever he says to her, get out of here, da 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 da. Your stay is over. So she had went shopping and bought some food and stuff. So he kicked her out, and now here comes the daughter. So apparently the daughter was up in the house. Now that I'm remembering, because the daughter didn't come from like outside. The daughter came from in the building. And then tells her that it's best this way. She got all these bruises on her face. And she's saying, oh, it's best this way, da 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 da. So she's like, what is he doing home? Then she goes and says, well, I didn't fill out the papers. So in other words, in our terminology, it is, I didn't press charges. So she said, this is how it is, and, you know, I prefer to stay with him, even with the beatings. And she's like, who's this? This is the mother talking to her. So who's this good for? You? I forgot the child name. Let's say Rosie. You or Rosie? Me? Like that. So she was like, well, here's the money. It's enough money for a ticket. Now, I guess it was over $10,000. It was over $10,000 because the daughter, that morning, the daughter told her that she took out $10,000. And she said, I left some, so I'm a presume, because the mother went into the envelope and took out one bill. So I'm presuming that was $100. It could have been $1,000. I don't know. But going on in the story, she didn't have no money, so it must have been just $100. And she said, okay. She said, the money is in my suitcase. Whenever you need it, you go and get it. So now when the daughter comes to her, the daughter tells her, only gives her enough money for the ticket. I said, these kids is crazy. And she's like, well, where's the rest of it? She said, I spoke to Daddy, and Daddy said that y'all couldn't be together, or he couldn't be with you because of your unruly nature. So she looked at her and said, is that what he told you? When she told her the truth, that he got a girl pregnant, he kicked her out and gave her the money for her shared apartment. So she ain't got nowhere to live. She talked to Daddy. Daddy tells her that it's the wife, her mother's fault. So she is actually blaming the mother. So when she asked the girl for where, she didn't ask her for the money. She just asked her where the rest of the money was. And she gave that look like, he said that was for me. So she just looked at her daughter like, wow, you really turning on me. She said, you're right. She said, okay, she didn't fuss with her because I guess she remembers saying that she didn't want it. So anyway, moving right along. There's a point to this madness. So she goes on, which is my input of it. So she goes on, now she's sitting down, trying to find a job. Some man sits beside her. And in my head, I'm saying to myself, okay, so she got to meet somebody that's going to be nice to her. She meets this guy, so I'm saying to myself, okay, this guy is nice. He gets into the restaurant, takes to a nice restaurant. When he gets there, she wants soup or whatever. They saying they ain't got no soup. The waiter was being kind of nippy with her, and I was saying to myself, why is she being nippy? Just go ahead and make some soup, right? And he says something, and then she goes, say, okay, we find some soup. Then another lady comes out with this flowery dress, and I'm saying to myself, who's this lady? This looks like somebody that's messing with him, because she just looked out of place to be a worker, because a worker, I would think a worker in a restaurant dressed down, But she was flashy, bright, not flashy. She was bright. So when she comes to the soup, she said, here's your soup with meatballs in it. That's the idea. So she leaves, right? And once she leaves, the lady that got kicked out asks her, okay, so who was that? And so he don't say nothing. I mean, he don't say that he know her. He just say, that's the owner, like that. But come to find out, he tries to get her to drink, the mother, the one that got kicked out. So she missing, he said, okay, we gonna drink one shot and then we gonna kiss afterwards, like that. So sure enough, they come arm in arm like this, and they drink, and then when they finish drinking, he grabs her and he kisses her, and then all her drink or whatever is in her glass that's left over spills on her. So she said, all right, I'm going to be back. So when she comes out, she runs into the girl, and the girl tells her the story about the man, that he drinks and then he don't pay for nothing, so he got a tab there. Because he was going out with her, he's able to go in there and, I guess, get drinks and meals for free because she likes him. So she saves the mother from him by putting her, like, in some area of the restaurant. And then she goes back and he's looking for blah, 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 blah. So anyway, he leaves and then she goes back. And then she tells her that, she tells the mother that got kicked out the story. The mother asked her for money because she ain't got no money. Apparently she must have used her ticket money, because she said, I just need money to buy a ticket and I'll pay you back. So the girl wound up liking her from the beginning of the convo, which I left out, forgot. And she gives her a job. So now I'm at the part of her working. She got to be the cleaning lady. So the girl didn't even put her as a waitress. She put her as a cleaning lady. So now I'm sitting here and I'm feeling for her. Don't laugh at me, okay? I'm feeling for the lady, even though it's a picture, but people live like that. People's lives are exactly like that. You know what I'm saying? Where the husband go and get another girl pregnant. This is the reason why there's consequences for your actions. That's wrong. And even though people may not have the agape love of God as a Christian, I'm not going to even say as a Christian, because a lot of Christians don't even have the agape love. But they don't have the agape love as an individual. And if you don't have it in you, see, here's the thing. For those like myself, and I don't brag on myself, but I'm going to brag in this particular area. For those that have love and compassion in them already, thank God. And the reason why I say that is because those people that genuinely, without an effort, love people like myself. I'm genuinely love people, right? And if you go through some of my videos and hear some of my stories with what go down and what went down, and there's so much more stuff. I could write a book about my life. But to others it may be boring, but it's my life. To genuinely have love in me, to accept the way people treat you, and to accept the things that people say to you, the relationships that you may have with a guy or a man. I never actually went out with a married man. That wasn't my thing because I'm married. So within my marriage, I didn't do that. So, and not to say that I wasn't tempted, not to say it didn't come on my plate, but I didn't eat it. I didn't eat it because I had much respect for myself, and I had respect for the man. And if the man was married, I cared about the woman more so than the man, because I would argue with him. Not that I don't recall going out with anybody that was married. But if I did, that would be the perspective of it. So, me being married, dealing with somebody, I never took off my wedding band. I always kept my wedding band on. So when I ran into people saw the wedding band. Back then in time, you would run across some guys that did give respect to married women. And when I would say I'm married, they would back off. But then there was some that was there, I'll say about 70%, they didn't care nothing. 70, 89, that'd be 30% care. No, I'm going to say about 85%. They did not care about my husband, about me per se being married. They was only actually thinking about themselves. So, if an individual have love in them already, passionate love, their relationship, their thought pattern is on love. When they become involved with somebody, they won't cheat. When they become involved with somebody, their outlook on life will be only to please that man or to please that woman. Excuse me. So it plays a part with your upbringing. It plays a part with what you see as you're growing up. That molds you. Growing up as a child and what you see growing up as a child molds you based on the perspective of how you see it and how you take it. So my grandmother, which raised me, did not have was not with a man. She had a husband. The beginning part of my life, I saw my grandfather. I sat on his knee at one time in my life, as I can remember. And I was very young. But after a while, I didn't see him no more. And I didn't know the story until I got a little older and my grandmother would sit and tell me different stories of her life. And one day that story came up with her and her husband splitting up. So I never really saw him after that. And when I heard anything else about him, he was dying. And then next thing you know, he was dead. So after all that, she did not have no other relationship. I didn't see no man in her house. She didn't have no man coming in and out of her house. So that's what I saw, and that's how my brain was molded. I'll be right back.